Hey guys, welcome to my little talk. We did this demo a couple of weeks ago for Black Hat, the Normal Security Conference. This day's talk is going to be a bit more Web3 focused. And I'm going to explain to you how the bad hackers have managed to pull off quite large heists against some of the largest crypto exchanges, including Crypto.com, Bitfinex. Everyone has been hit by these attacks. So basically what we did at Fire was to try to understand how do we protect against these types of attacks by actually researching how did they break in, how did they take over accounts, and how easy is this to actually do. So you, from a builder perspective, can actually protect against these attacks, which are happening a lot lately. So a bit about myself. My name is Thomas Olofsson. I'm an ex-hacker that I've been working with protecting the computer systems for a very long time by actually breaking into and hacking them actively. The reason why we do that, it's called penetration testing, to actually bash the system, and that's now what we at Fire are doing at Web3 as well, to actually break the systems and test the security before the bad guys actually do that. I'm sort of a digital nomad, so I work mostly from Tenerife and from Sweden, and also Fire is a very global company, so we work from all over the world. I'm also founder of sect.org, which is a large Scandinavian computer security conference, which teaches this. And I used to do capture the flag games, which is like legal hacking, so also won capture the flag in Las Vegas a couple of times. And CTFs are actually a very good way to actually get into hacking without ending up in jail, because you can actually go there and hack stuff legally and earn a lot of money. So, except for that, I'm into climbing, diving, and all other safe sports, motorcycles. And my current interest in Web3 is actually going into decentralized identities. I think that's one of the space after DeFi. So just a quick bit about what we do at FIO. So we do basically three things. We do domain intelligence and protection of domains, as well as Web3 security audits and security checks. But what we're here to talk about today is that text message or two-factor authentication. If you don't want to see more of the talk, you can go now. It's broken. It's totally broken. But I'm going to try to prove that today. By showing you guys how you actually can send your own text messages and do all of this, proxy and bypass everything, and actually, because everyone's like, oh, you have to have 2FA. If you have 2FA, you're safe. And as we've seen on some of the large exchange hacks, no, with text messages, you're not safe. You should actually force your users into other more forms of two-factor authentication, because text messages are just stupid. Yeah, so just setting the scenes. The last couple of years, there has been a lot of really big attacks where people have taken over accounts. They have sort of emptied the account via phishing or smishing. How many of you know what smishing means? Have you heard the term smishing? Okay, smishing. How many of you have got an unsolicited text message to your phone during the last couple of days, which you didn't receive? Oh yeah, most people have, because there's been an increase of 7 times, 700% over the last year in what's called smishing. And that is like phishing links, but via SMS. And the reason for this, it's super effective. Because people, for some weird reason, are much, much more likely to click an SMS message than they are an email, because we're so used to email spam that we're like, oh, this is just email spam. It's like, oh my God, it's another phishing link. But it's like, if it says hey, this is from the police, you have, it's like, people click because it's on their phone, and for some reason people do believe that it's secure. And then we've seen hackers actually using this technology to actually bypass the two-factor authentication on some of these exchanges. And I got really interested because no one in the media said how they did it, for obvious reasons, because maybe you don't want to teach the criminals, but then again, the criminals will know this. So we actually went through some of the larger hacks and actually looked at the evidence files and found out how they did it. And I mean, basically, we want to research how did they do it, what were the attack vectors, What do you need to do this? Is it an expensive operation? Do I need to buy a small country to pull this off? Do I need to hack a telco operator, or can I do it with small means? And then again, how can we help other builders like yourself protect against this? So one of the biggest one was Crypto.com that we saw getting targeted by this. Their 2FA bypass exceeded 30 million in withdrawals from accounts that bypassed their forcing, of course, refunds from Crypto.com. But again, not only Crypto.com has been targeted by this, most exchanges have. Most exchanges have now implemented controls against this, because obviously it's a bad thing. So basically, SMS phishings, we are seeing a lot of them. As I say, there is a 7 times increase. And the reason for this, it's really hard to verify the integrity of the sender of the messages. People just assume that you can only send messages from your own phone number. However, that's not the case. If you're looking into the smishing attacks that we were investigating, less than 35% actually realized that the text messages that they clicked were not from the right sender. So most people that get targeted by smishing attacks don't even understand that they have been targeted by a smishing attack. They think that their text messages are legit, even though they've been hacked. So they're like, hey, why is my Binance account empty? It's like, they don't expect that the SMS messages were not from Binance, because we're so used to that being a security. And the reason for this, as I said, is that for some weird reason, it has higher implicit trust of looking at a SMS message that comes through than your emails are, because you never trust your emails. And we have seen a much higher success rates in these attacks. And the mobile functionality. I'm going to do some demos of this, so we're going to see how the actual mobile works. And the mobile providers, they've been really good at picking up these text messages, so they will actually autofill them for you. So I'm going to demo that later on, that if I spoof a text message, the browser will pick it up, autofill it for you, and just log you in. It's super nice. Oh, and then we want to research, how do these hackers find my phone number? So we actually did a lot of research together with Michael Byström to actually find a lot of phone numbers online. So we have indexed about 22 billion leaked passwords in our database. But now we also started looking at the telephone numbers. How many telephone numbers can we find? So we have found 1 billion telephone numbers leaked online that we can tie to an email address. I'm going to demo that as well. So that's how the bad guys are like, saying, this is just a very, very targeted attack. No, it's not, because like we have your telephone number, your telephone number, your telephone number. We have like maybe a third of all telephone numbers that are active in the world are already leaked on the darknet or in data dumps. So that's like a source that just keeps giving. So basically, to do this research, we did what you can call like digital dumpster diving. So we're looking through the really nice places on the internet where you really want to go, like the Russian hacking forums, the leak database trading files, where a lot of hackers online actually trade in this stolen data. The stolen data has become like a commodity online, and there's so much of it that they nowadays like give it away for free. If it's less than like 3 months old, it's not worth anything, so then you just publish it for free. So if you're into like digital dumpster diving, there's a lot of funny stuff you can find. And also we have all the ransomware, so we generally go and hang out where the bad guys hang out. Especially ransomware sites, they're like people that get hacked, like local governments. They don't have a very good IT budget, but they do have your phone number, etc. And they get hacked and they can't pay, so they just publish all their data online. So we went there and scooped it up, breach forums, and also there is like a new thing called like sales conference. Have you seen these mails like, hi, do you want to buy the attendee list of the Breakpoint conference? I mean, there's all of these lists that you can just buy. I have no idea how they get the data, but we did buy them. Some of them are accurate, and some of them contains phone numbers. So it's like, and if you collect this, if you're a threat actor that want to hack the crypto community, having the Breakpoint attendee list with phone numbers would be a great way to actually bypass people to FA. So there is actually these dump sites. They look like this, and they have like all of these dumps just free for download. Anyone can register here. Just go in. There's darknet sites, but there's also on the normal internet. And these in the green there is how many leaked credentials they have. So it's like 800,000, 700 million. It's like, it's quite large numbers of leaked credentials they're just running around. So we index, as I said, 24 billion of them with about 1 billion telephone numbers. And this is just for Clop Leaks is one of the ransomware groups. These are the data that's currently published now on their darknet site. So we see like, yeah, we see a lot of .com names. And there is also a lot of crypto sites that are getting hacked, that's not public, that are just published on these sites with usernames and phone numbers. So that's interesting. So one of the biggest things when we index this, Facebook.com was a good give. They got hacked and they leaked 509 million, which we could extract 139 million phone numbers from Facebook. Verifications.io, 68 million. US extended cell phone feeds, 90 million phone numbers that we can tie to email addresses. People Data Labs, LinkedIn, and then we have like Breakpoint where we found 16,000 phone numbers. So I mean, these are the sources that we're looking for when building this database. So basically, all your numbers belong to us. So I am going to do a demo of this. As you see, we're coming into the demo space now. So basically, Brian unfortunately had to go home, but we're normally using, he's our CEO, co-CEO of the company, and he's a very good, like, he worked a long time in tech, so he's been on a lot of sites. He likes the internet. So he's a very good test user, so we use his Gmail account to see how many phone numbers do we have for Brian. We have 3. And this is just also for GDPR perspective on user Brian because I have his permission to use him. But this is how much data we have on people, and this is how quickly it is to get his phone number. So you could also do, if you want to search for Brian, you can also search for his phone number and see what other email addresses he has tied to that phone number. So you can do search phone number, P. Then we see, we can do another phone number. Let's take this one. Or was that the one I did? Yeah. So I'm going to search for this one. And there you see, he has a lot of other accounts like Adam Gale. So we can actually tie people with multiple email addresses to one phone number. So why don't we send Brian a text message now, because I know he's back in the US and probably wouldn't mind. So, boom, now we sent Brian a text message saying basically the same thing as this one does. It's like, Google, suspicious account activity on your account, please verify your account, etc. And obviously, this doesn't go to, this goes to a site that we have set up which proxies Google. And we can log in here with Breakpoint. And I hope I cleared the cache. So I'm going to log in. And as you see, this looks really good. And this is not Google's site. This is what we have, a proxy site. So what's happened in the background here, if you look in the other tab, we actually logged in with two-factor authentication and hijacked all the login data, including the 2FA password, which were sent and auto-filled by the browser. The reason why we logged in now directly is did this, so I have to clear the cache for this to work because I already had a logged in session, which it did just behind. But it will auto-fill the 2FA password along with the session cookies and actually send it to the attacker. And this is the only thing you see being targeted by this. If you click the SMS, it's like unable to sign in. You signed in, you're unable to sign in, and the hacker has your 2FA password as long as your session cookies and keys take over your session from any browser. And that's like, that's how easy the attacks are. So basically they're made up by 1, spoofed SMS messages, proxy service that automatically does a man-in-the-middle attack between the targeted site and I have too many screens. There we go. So where we used to think about credentials as a username, password, or a hash, we now started thinking about credentials pair as like everyone now. How many has 2FA enabled on their crypto? Yeah. So today we need to start thinking about credentials and leaked credentials being username, password, and telephone number. The problem is not only us doing that, the attackers are doing the same. So if you have your username, your password, and your telephone number, you can still do these things by redirecting you and sending the telephone numbers to the sites where you know you've been leaked at. So we're currently able to detect 1 in 10 email addresses and tie that to a phone number in our research. Yeah, when we did the slides, we had 500 million, we now have 1 billion telephone numbers indexed. But yeah, if we can do this, so can the bad guys. And I mean, this is a thing that is leading to losses. Crypto.com says we have a small number of users reporting suspicious activity on their account. They lost 34 million from 436 accounts. It's not, I wish I could say that that was a small number in my budget, but OpenSea this has happened to multiple times as well, of course. Phishing and smishing in conjunction with NFTs has been rife, especially before the NFT tanked. We saw a lot of attacks against OpenSea. And where you have a fake sites, and we're also tracking like when they register, because they register very similar domains. So you have like OpenE and OpenSeas, and you have like so many like sites that are really similar that these smishing attacks are tied to. So they have the phone numbers. You go to OpenSea.ia instead of IE, etc., or IO, and then they steal your two-factor tokens. They steal everything, and all your NFTs are gone. And actually, in the funny thing that with this attack against OpenSea, they actually sent out a SMS and a mail to everyone saying, "Hey, we have a new contract address." The guys copied that email. It looked exactly, the SMS messages were exactly the same, and they did a copy of the contract, just pointed it to their own address. So everyone that went in and connected their wallet against the new OpenSea contract did so to the attacker. So all the NFTs belongs to us. So they just basically came in and wiped everyone by a smishing campaign. And then after, when we wrote these slides, this happened as well. So the most popular ways of doing this, there's two things when looking at all these big attacks. The most popular way is the reset password is not working as intended. So a lot of the times, if we have looked at Coinbase attack, it was actually that you go in, you reset your password, and then you could bypass 2FA because people wasn't good enough at penetration testing the site. So there were ways with like these security questions as well, they could do a password reset without actually having the 2FA code, even though you had 2FA enabled. That's obviously been fixed. So the account recovery process, change of phone numbers, and then again, SMS injection into an already existing login. So let's say you log in to buy, you first say to people like, hey, click this SMS and log into the site. Then you actually send them an SMS login, and they will get the SMS and send it to you via one of these like proxy man in the middle that I'll just demonstrate on Google. Actually, I had the permission from Google to present that on Google. I don't have the permission to prove it on any of I can't do a fake crypto exchange site because they won't let me, but Google actually let me demonstrate on Google. So this works regardless of the site and the protections. We come into protection. And yeah, as I showed you, smishing and phishing proxies against a real site, saving the session cookies and the 2FA codes. And then we have had SIM jacking, cloning, porting. In the US, it's easier than in Europe. You can basically just call people and say, hey, I would like to sign up for a new, if I know that you have a lot of crypto, it's like, and I know your phone number, I can just say, hey, I'm currently on XYZ. I love to go to T-Mobile. this is my number, can you port it? And I'll pay. And so we have seen a lot of instances where you actually port over the real users, especially like high stakeholders have had their numbers hijacked by people social engineering themselves and doing what is called like SIM jacking. So someone takes over your SIM card by saying that I love to buy this T-Mobile plan. And the salespeople there, they shouldn't really do it, but they really want the sale, so they actually port over your number to your new line. And then you can bypass 2FA. So, short stories, 2FA is terrible for this. And even if you look at Google, if you look at the account recovery process, they're normally flawed. This is how much data from my personal account is given out. It's like, oh, he has another email address which is this. Oh, he has another email address which is this. Oh, his phone number ends with 00. So just by initiating a password reset, forgot phone number, for any account, I can also tie them to the other phone numbers that we have in our database and verify them through the account recovery processes. So yeah, a short history of SMS. It was actually designed in 1985. That's not a new technology. And there was some data left between the voice packets in GSM, which they decided that maybe we can do short messages here. So basically, the first message that was sent was Merry Christmas, and that's probably what it was intended for, to like send short messages, not to have it as a security function. There's no sender verification whatsoever. There's no check from which number it comes on the network. So if you get access to the network, you can do that two ways. You can either have a phone and send it from via the cable. You can use any phone, more or less. Or you can use gateway providers. There's a lot of SMS gateway providers that you can get access to. So it is technically as legal to setting your phone number to Santa Claus. So I'm going to try to show you how to send some text messages. Let me see. So let's say I want to send an SMS message to my phone. I prepared some here. So let's say I want to send a text message from Google. Let's see if this works. Let's hope it works. It's always fun when it works. So that was Brian's. So let's say here. Normal smart. So let's say Binance. I want to spoof Binance because that's fun. Yeah. And here we go, Binance. Your account has been blocked. And this is, of course, the funny thing is this shows up, as you can see, I do have Binance. And this shows up in my real Binance like log of messages, including my 2FA, real 2FA codes that actually come from Binance. So it's very hard as an end user to see that this is fake. Okay, now the domain that I've done is like demo.smishmash.net, and smishmash is what we're calling this technique. So of course this is going to be fake, but still it's very hard for you as a user to actually see that this is not from Binance, that this is actually from a fake account. And boom, if you go there and actually log in to, I have another one which is called like crypto something, which actually points right. And if you actually go there and input your details, they will be hijacked by the attacker. And I mean, obviously, if you do this live, you do a better domain than like demo.smishmash.net, because you do like a domain that's very much more similar to Binance, and that's what we've seen. So yeah, can you send basically from any? So we have developed some tools, and these are published as well on a public repo, so you can play with these tools as well. So you can, as you say, just put the sender to anything you want here, and just send SMS from any sender. That's how easy it is. And you can link to the phishing site that hijacks the data, and then log in on your account. Let's see. So, and then it's like when we're looking at this, if the guys that are doing this professionally, they don't use like just one phone that I'm using. There is a lot of fun stuff you can buy from China. We hadn't had time to order, but there is like $160. You see what that is? It's a lot of cables that you plug into a lot of SIM cards. You can automate this and just run it doing like on a professional scale. So the hackers that we're seeing, I love this one, like $508, you get like, I don't know how many phones that is, but it's literally a rack-mounted phone that you can just use as a gateway and like spam SMS with. Basically the same thing as sending it from your phone, but they also come, they actually come with the marketing, like 64-port bulk sending SMS device, supporting IMEI change by AT command. And IMEI, that's like the sender identity of the phone. So these are Chinese devices that you can reprogram to send from any device ID, none whatsoever. So yeah, SMS, this is what the bad guys are doing. They're buying one of these devices, and then they find the dump file for one of your targeted sites, and they email and send SMS to all your users and send them to a similar site. And this is quite funny because actually, this is on the sales side for these devices. They have like, your Google verification code is. So this is actually on the marketing material for these sites. They're marketing them as like, this you can do illegal activity with. So how this works in reality is you have a phished user, you have an adversary in the middle that is pointed to by this, that has the decrypted password as I show you on screen, and then goes to the real website and actually injects and steals all the 2FA codes and the session cookies. So we already done the demos. So thank you. I have 1 minute left for questions and answer. But I'm just going to talk about protection really shortly. There is 3 major ways that you can protect against this if you're running a B2C exchange, etc. reCAPTCHA has a hidden field where you can say that if someone goes this, if you tried this on crypto.com today, they're using reCAPTCHA to solve against this. There is also CloudFront cookies that will mess and show that the site is being man-in-the-middle attack, because as you saw on the sites, there is no certificate. Everyone's like, oh, but HTTPS, that protects me against this. We set up servers that in real time request all the new certificates via Let's Encrypt or free enrollment services. So there's basically no way to see this unless you have the reCAPTCHA or the CloudFront, and you could sort it with course headers. But unless you protect against these, your end users will not see that they're not on the real site, because the proxy servers are so good today. Thank you very much for attending.